Let's go to the Allo VIP line where we're joined by Sean Callahan of On3 Husker Online. Sean, good morning. We'll start with this. Matt Rule mentioned pitch counts yesterday and potentially some guys not playing in the spring game and scrimmages. Jamal Banks is on that list. And if you think back, even previously before Matt Rule, it was the Samari Toure, then Trey Palmer, then Billy Kemp last year, and now Jamal Banks kind of as Nebraska's gone to the transfer portal. What should be the expectation for Jamal Banks going into 2024?
Well, I think of those guys, at least at the Power 5 level, Jamal Banks, you can argue, has as big of a body of work as anyone. I mean, he was I believe he was two-time second-team all-conference. For sure he was second-team all-conference this past year, but one of the top receivers in the ACC, and there's a lot of, snaps and proven film underneath his reps. Trey Palmer didn't have that kind of body of work. I mean, he had potential, but didn't have, the numbers at LSU that Banks had at Wake Forest. Torrey had great numbers at the FCS level. But yeah, I think that's just the approach Matt Rule believes in, that, hey, let's get some other guys some more reps. We know what Banks can do. We know, he's proven. We've seen it now in the winter. We've seen it in the early portions of spring. But yeah, when you're a newcomer and can earn that already, that tells you what they think of him.
Sean, I mean, do you think we're looking at a situation where both those big transfer receivers are in the lineup, Nayor and Banks?
I mean, it looks possible. I mean, I think Jalen Lloyd has to be considered, a guy today too. But a lot just depends on the formations they come out with too, and the looks. I mean, I think we get so fixated on starters and who's the starters, but I think it's more who are going to be the main 5 or 6 guys they feature. And I think Nayor and Banks and Lloyd are in that group, and there's a whole host of others, kind of battling. Malachi Coleman will factor in, and Isaiah Garcia Castaneda is injured, but you wonder where he'll factor in. Alex Bullock certainly will be in a rotational group as a veteran in that back end, and Jaden Doss is in the competition, and Demetrius Bell. I mean, they've got a really good group of guys, and now it's a matter of kind of putting that puzzle together.
Portal's open, Sean Callahan. Is Nebraska looking?
I mean, everyone's looking to an extent, but it's dry right now. I mean, there's not as much movement into this portal in April as maybe you would see in December. And, Shannon Terry, our owner of On3, brought up a great point. I mean, hat tip to the collectives. They've done a really good job with roster management and getting their teams in line where you're not seeing near as much entry as we had seen maybe in previous springs. And I think NIL is a big factor where, you kind of keep guys put. Or, a couple of years ago out of the blue, Casey Rogers just left Nebraska in the middle of the spring. And, Casey Thompson last year left Nebraska. Here locally, I don't know if we're going to see a major just out of the blue spring portal entry. Rule didn't anticipate it yesterday, and but there'll be something, I'm sure, but nothing major if I had to guess today. And I think across college football, the activity's been really quiet. And Coach Rule's comments about coaches tampering with players that aren't even in the portal kind of tells you maybe how dry it is right now, because maybe there's some coaches trying to find something in the portal. There's nothing there, so they're trying to maybe create some activity if they could get a guy to enter the portal, which is, as you would say, Siv, one of the ugly sides of college football right now.
Yeah, that seems healthy. Just go to somebody else's roster, text some guys, and try to pluck them. That seems like a good part of college football.
It's like, hey, I'm going to go out to the bars and look for girls.
Easy.
There's no girls in the bars, so what do? You just start texting guys' girlfriends to show up to the bars.
Great.
I mean,
healthy. Okay, what else? What else from Rule? Swim. Do you have any other questions?
Well, yeah, I think one thing, Sean, and once again, Sean Callahan of On3 joining us. One thing is certainly with Matt Rule, the turnover number has been an issue just with Nebraska over the last decade plus. They were minus 17. And I think in last season in turnover margin, and when you look ahead at this season, you're instilling a freshman quarterback as we expect Dylan Raiola to be the starter out there. Should there be concern for Nebraska repeating the numbers and the type of numbers, especially when it comes to turnover margin that maybe Nebraska fans are accustomed to?
Well, I think one reason why they're automatically not going to have as many you would think is they're going to take away a lot of that QB run game. When you put your QB in the run game and, have a lot of ball handling and zone reads and things like that, that naturally is going to lead to some more turnovers just because of the exposure you're putting at your quarterback and then just the ball handling involved. If they're going to do more of just straight handoffs to the backs, which we think that's the direction they're going with Dylan Raiola or even Daniel Callahan or the other quarterbacks, you would think that would shave things down. So I just think that alone right there, the change in what they're doing, taking out a lot of the options and things they were doing last year, will help those turnovers.
Okay, Sean, a lot of talk about Vincent Shavers. Are we going too far with this? Is it too much hype too soon? Vincent Shavers is an inside linebacker freshman from Miami. Could you see him against UTEP playing a significant role?
Yeah, I don't think it's going too far to saying that he's put himself in a position that he's not going to redshirt. I mean, he's got a great chance to play, and I think that's where we're at today. And yeah, you'd hate to say, starter, it's very difficult to be that kind of player, but we know Matt Rule and Tony White rotate and play a lot of guys. So I think Shavers has put himself in a great position to get into one of those rotations where he's going to play some snaps this year.
Okay.
All right, Sean, appreciate the time as always. We'll go ahead and get you out of here. Sorry that we got to you a couple of minutes late, but appreciate the time. Appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
It's all good, gentlemen. Talk to you later.
God bless you.
There he is, Sean Callahan of On3 Husker Online. Appreciate the time as always.